Hey, Kristen, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, thank you for taking some time here to join us in Vancouver.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Have you ever been
I
up this
actually
way?
have. I went last August. Yes,
Oh,
to
yeah.
record some music actually.
Oh, no way. Where'd you record music?
With like a friend. He lives like in downtown Vancouver, and we did like a little collab like on a song. But it was just like a cover song. But
Which
it was,
which song?
we haven't released it. He wants to do like PR stuff behind it and whatever, so we'll see.
Okay, okay. Where do you live right now?
I'm in Nashville.
Oh, you're Nashville. Oh, nice. That's a fun city.
I love it here. Yeah. My mom lives in Alabama, so it's like close enough but not too close, you know.
Yeah.
We have like every season here, which is nice because I was originally from Florida, which was literally just hot, humid, gross summer every single day.
Yeah, yeah. I heard you grew up on a naval base. Is that right?
I was born, yeah, on Portsmouth Naval Base. I'm a Navy brat. Both my mom and my dad were in the Navy. And my stepbrother, well, he just got out, but his son is in the Navy as well. So
Huh?
big Navy family. And my stepsister, her husband was in the Navy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get into like race car driving? Like what was that?
Actual race car driving was later in life, but like cars since I was like a kid. Always loved cars. I was such a tomboy. I didn't have like Barbies and stuff. I had Hot Wheels and Power Rangers and all that. In my little like 4x4 Power Wheels truck. Um,
Yeah.
and my dad, he was a Mustang guy, and my uncle, he was the Corvette guy, and he was also a Harley guy. So I just really took, I think it all that passion started with my uncle. My mom used to always be like, I think you got his genes, like you're super adrenaline junkie, tomboy, and like super like math science smart, and that was him. And he would restore Corvettes, like, and he would like soup up golf carts and go-karts and put it like wheels and sound systems and stuff on them. And oh, he was into like guns. He'd let me like shoot guns. He'd take me on the motorcycle and stuff like since I was like little. So I was
Yeah.
like, it's my cool uncle. So like I was always into them. But to answer your story, racing, I never even knew that was a thing, you know. I kind of just grew up in small little kind of town. I just your basic choices in life were like, oh, doctor, teacher, engineer, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Um, but then I got into the promotional modeling like kind of industry and got to be like an umbrella girl for a race team. Um, and then I got my Corvette before that, so I've always just liked to go fast, but I never did any like road courses, just like dumb street racing stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
Um, but I got the opportunity. I was like, I just want to like go on a hot lap, like take me with you. And I was like, okay. So the pro driver took me around the track and I was like, oh my gosh. Like I was like, I did not know cars could go like this fast around turns. Like this is crazy. I was like, I want to drive. I want to drive.
Nice. Did he
And
let
they
you?
were like, yes. So then they actually it wasn't the first time I did the hot lap that I got the opportunity to drive, but they were like, oh, we're doing a little HPD track day. Like we'll rent you a car and we'll have the pro driver kind of like coach you.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so cool. So I'm like, I drive and he's just telling me kind of like what to do and all this stuff. And he was like, holy crap, he's like, you're actually like you got a natural talent. Like you're just already kind of know what to do. You're not scared. Like, so then they were like, I think you really should like pursue this. So I was like, really? I was like, I think they're just being nice to me, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, they were awesome. They helped me kind of numerous track days, racing school, got all that stuff done. But then unfortunately, the team owner passed away. So all of that funding and everything was gone because I couldn't afford to do that stuff on my own.
Yeah. Racing's expensive, right? Like big
Yeah.
time.
And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna track my own car to make it affordable. And then that ended up costing a ton because it's like my rotors were all warped. I had to redo my brakes, rotors, and then
Sure.
tires and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, this, and then yeah, just long story short, it messed up my car quite a bit. And I was like, okay, never tracking my car again. But then I got an opportunity to actually like race in a race last year in the Champ Car series because I was like, I had a couple opportunities, but people wanted me to sign a thing that like I would cover any damage, but I like
You're like,
if
no, 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 no.
yeah, and I was
I
like, I
can't
can't
do
even
that.
do that because I was like, this is like a $230,000 car. So I was like, I'll do the Mazda Miatas. That one, if I wreck that or something, I could like
Sure.
fix it, but I'm gonna try not to, right? So I got an opportunity, but I had never driven a manual on track before.
Okay.
Um,
Nice.
so I we rented a Mazda Miata the week before the race, and one of the guys on the team was just trying to teach me like how to do the heel toe downshifting thing. I had driven manuals like numerous times, but like I had never done the track heel toe thing. And so he's like, okay, I think over a two day weekend at Sebring, we went to like a familiar track that I knew really well, so we're not having to like learn the line and learn heel toe. Um, so he's like, okay, I think like got it down good enough, like race next week at Road Atlanta. I'm like, okay. Flew straight from Sebring to Vegas to work at an event as a trade show model. Literally did an overnight flight, get to Georgia the day of practice, like before the race at like 8 in the morning, exhausted because I couldn't really sleep on the plane. And they put me on the sim first to kind of just get, an idea of the layout of the track.
Mhm.
And of course, during my practice session, after one lap, it gets black flagged and they like a car wrecked and they closed down the track. So I didn't get to practice anymore before the
Oh,
race the next day. And I'm like, oh God, I was terrified. And there was like over 100 cars on track. Like this is a little champ car race of 12 hour, 14 hour, I don't know. It was a long one. 12 hour, 14 hour,
wow.
10
Like,
hour.
and how fast are you going around the track?
I will say that the Mazda Miata does not get the speed like the cars I was used to driving with my
Yeah.
race team, that was a whole nother learning curve, was it took me a little bit to be like, oh, I need to hold way more speed into these turns than I'm used to. I was used to slow in, fast out, but with the Mazda Miatas, it was like, no, I got to carry the speed because when I get on that throttle, it goes nowhere. So, I don't even remember our exact top speed there, but I will say I'm glad I did Road Atlanta the first time in a Miata though, because even in the Miata, coming under that bridge with that blind like turn is still kind of scary the
Oh,
first
man.
couple of times, until you really like know the track like the back of your hand. But the first like couple of times, it's like, hold on, I'm supposed to stay full throttle on this, and I can't even see what's over the hill.
Yeah.
Um,
Scary.
but it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. We also did like in the nighttime, so that was new to me. It's crazy how bright some of those cars' headlights were, and it seemed like they were so close. And I'm like, oh no, like, but they were like not ever. I don't know. It was weird. So that was like a learning curve, and even just like track visibility, it was way different. Um, but yeah, it was cool, and it was funny because originally, like the team owner of the Miata, and he was like, this is an endurance race. He's like, I know you've never really driven this track or a manual really. And I know this is your first race. He's like, my only thing is just don't wreck the car and don't blow the tranny. And I'm like, he's like, don't even worry about speed. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna come out here and just be like, I will say I'm like slow in the beginning, but I progressively get faster. Like even in race school, I was the slowest in and but the fastest leaving. So I'm very just like learn one thing at a time. So starting out, I was like a little off pace, but like as I kept going, I was getting more comfortable, like talking to them. Then I started actually like laying down times as say in this within a second of our fastest driver.
Mm.
And then I was actually our second fastest driver out of 4. And the other 2 had raced numerous times, and one of them, it was their home track. So they were like, "Holy
They know
crap."
the they know the
They're
track.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, and they were like, "Holy crap, like this girl can actually drive." So then they're like, "Okay, yeah, like go
Yeah.
for it." But so that was cool. So that's when I was kind of like, "Oh, maybe I am good." Like um
At least try it out, check it out, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So
And,
that was like a lot of fun,
have
but
you found anything over the years, like, that even comes remotely close to the rush you get from racing?
no, so what's funny too is like I thought track days were so much fun and I love them, but an actual race, nothing like it, 10 times more. Like, and because I had done like open passing at track days, but still no one really like got as close and as aggressive as like they did in actual racing. And that was like kind of new to me, or like getting off my line and like adjusting like to that sometimes got kind of scary because I'm like, ah, I'm like off. I don't know if I can take this turn now. But it was just yeah, the adrenaline rush and whatever was amazing. Like our stints were 2-hour stints, like at that race.
Mm.
And I remember my mom's like, I would be so bored, like driving around the same track for like 2 hours. And I was like,
Like, "No, mom, you
no
won't get bored."
way.
Like,
And
no.
I was like, it went by so fast. It's funny because I'm like, there's no way that was like 2 hours. I'm like, I feel like I just got in the car.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy. And
but
is it true, like, what they say, like, Days of Thunder, Tom Cruise, where he's, like, Robin's racing? Like, there's a ton of Robs, right?
ton of what?
Robin? Like, bumping up
Oh,
against other
yeah, yeah, yeah,
cars and shit? Like,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
no, what's crazy. So I feel like too, like racing is the only time my brain like shuts up or only like I don't, it's weird. Like I'm so ADD and my brain's like all over the place. Or even if I'm doing something, I'm thinking about something else, whatever. But on the racetrack, I'm just like on the racetrack. I'm there. And I almost feel just like in the zone. I don't have to like overthink, and I don't know. It's just a cool like zen almost feeling. In the beginning, it was more of like like kind of scary, nervous, but then once I got like the jitters like out, then it was just like a oh my gosh, like it was just like almost just like a peaceful
Mhm.
like zen like feeling. But yeah.
That's cool. And what are some of your race day rituals? Like, what do you do like clockwork on race day?
It's funny, I panic like the day before race day. I don't know, my stress, I freak out. I'm like, I don't know, like practice or testing or whatever. I'm like, it didn't go well. I get really scared, like kind of like the day before. But for some reason, every morning, like morning of race day, when I wake up, I just have this almost like no feeling. It's weird. Like,
Hmm.
my brain just kind of is like, we're just gonna do this. It's just I don't know. I don't understand how or why, because like I said the day before, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know if I really have like a ritual. It's kind of just like, I don't know. Get up, have a coffee.
Right.
Um,
Try to
and
try to just
just
remain calm,
I really think
remain
my
zen,
brain
like,
just almost, yeah, just goes calm on race day.
yeah,
I don't know if
I
it's
can
a
see that.
defense mechanism
Probably, I could see that for
what,
sure. Yeah,
but that's just kind of how it's been. And I'm like, I don't know why. I'm like, why was I so scared like before? But then come race day, I'm like, I got this shit. Like, let's go. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And how's the heavy foot? Like, have you got a heavy left foot when you're, or I guess it'd be right foot when you're driving your regular day to day? Like, what do you drive for your day to day?
so my daily driver is an Infiniti G37. And it's like the sport. It's quick enough, you know,
Quick,
but
yeah.
I have a Corvette too, my C7 Corvette that I drive a lot
Mm.
more now that it's older and I've tracked it and whatever. Um, And I also have a Silverado. In my truck, I don't really like speed that much because it's lifted and it's big and I'm just
Yeah.
it just doesn't handle, like whatever.
Well, and it'd be a bit
But
of a heat
it's
score anyway. If you're speeding around in that, cops are definitely pulling you over.
Yeah, but I definitely, when I'm by myself, I drive pretty fast on the roads. It's hard not to, like you said. And it's funny, you always like imagine like if a cop pulls you over, it's like, I race cars, it's fine. Like
Yeah, I'm all right, bud. I'm good. Yeah.
I always say too, if I am driving more fast and aggressive, I am definitely paying more attention. Because if I start just like getting in the like go with the flow, speed limit and whatever, I'll get either like tired or distracted. I'm not really paying attention. But if I'm like, okay, I'm like kind of cutting and driving fast, I'm like 100% paying attention to everything. So I'm like, I'm probably safer on the road if I'm going fast.
Right. That's what people that smoke marijuana and drive cars. They're like, no, no, I'm paying more attention because I'm high now, so
Yes.
I'm actually more safe. So Kristen, of course, like when I initially reached out to you, I had no idea that you were a freaking power model. Like you have over 1 million people following on your page, on your race page. You're like six, 7,000, whatever. And then snooping around, I'm like, fuck, this girl is massive model. So talk about that side of your world and like when did you get into it? Talk about maybe career highlights and stuff. Like you've done some pretty big things, I would think, right?
Yeah, so it's funny, like I said, I've always been like a tomboy, never really did the whole like modeling thing, but I will say I played beach volleyball and kind of what started everything is you can't hide boobs in a bikini. So I was very self-conscious about not having boobs, so I got my boobs done.
Mm.
Um, then I have to say like that's kind of what started everything. I was at this like superboat race like event just like attending and they're like, "Oh, we're doing a bikini contest and like winner gets $1,500 or something and we're paying out top 5 like." And I was like, "Okay, I got boobs now or whatever." I'm like I was playing sports, I was in shape. I played in the lingerie football league. That was
Oh, did you really?
yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I get backstage and there's like 50 girls signed up. And I'm like, oh God, what did I sign myself up for? They're all like in these gorgeous blingy bikinis, like their hair and makeup is like perfect. And I'm like, oh God, what did I do? And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I had to like drink some drinks to get the confidence to get on that stage.
A little bit of liquid courage.
Yes. And so I do their little walk and whatever, and they call out top 5. I made top 5, and I'm like, okay. And then they like announced the top 3, and I ended up winning the whole thing. And I was like, maybe I'm pretty. Like, so then I started just doing like bikini contests. So that's kind of how my modeling stuff, because it was really cool. I just started finding them and they'd be like $1,000 to first or like paying out a bunch of money
Right.
to top
And like
5. So,
that's great
and I
money.
pretty much, yeah, and I pretty much got like at least top 3, like in almost all of them, like as I was traveling.
Mm.
And they were always at cool events too. Like a lot of them would be at car shows, motorcycle shows, like Bike Week. Yeah, one like Daytona Bike Week or Biketoberfest, I cleaned up. I just rode my motorcycle from contest to contest to contest. And I think me having my bike was a little bit of a edge because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I show up on a motorcycle at a motorcycle event. I think I made like over 10 grand in like 2 days, one weekend at Bike Week, just from going from contest to contest to contest. So I was like, this is cool. But so then the more events, then that's how I got into the promo modeling is companies, like vendors and stuff that were at the events would like try to talk to you, get you to do promo modeling for them. So then it led to promo modeling. Then that led to like doing more photo shoots and then started social media with that. And then it just kind of
Blew up.
took off from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And so is this something that you do? Like, will you go and do like the modeling thing or whatever, and then also race as well the same weekend?
Well, so I'm older now, right? Like I'm 35, I'm about to turn 36 here. And so I kind of wanted to get away from the modeling. I've never really liked the modeling, but it was like easy money, right? Like,
Right.
so to me, once I started doing like the racing and stuff, then I was like, I want to be taken more serious. I haven't really been doing any promotion. I haven't I did do the Vegas bikini contest because those ones are like high paying ones, like
Mm,
they pay like 30 grand and stuff like that. But other than that, I stopped kind of doing bikini contests and promotional modeling unless it was aligned with like my brand. So I went to like SEMA. So I do like car show type events, but more of like a host, not like a booth babe type thing.
right, right.
So and even if I did do a couple of trade shows, it was like with a company, like as like a saleswoman or whatever, not in a little skimpy outfit. I don't know. I just feel like kind of like in my head, once I hit 30, I wanted to grow up and be an adult.
Grow up. Come on, grow up already. So,
But like, so I do like house flipping stuff too. So real estate investing.
I saw that as well. That's crazy. So, like, how did you get into that? Like, you had to take a course to do that, or do you just kind of like mentor somebody? What did you do for that?
YouTube tutorials. No,
Yeah, nice.
no, I would watch the DIY channel and HGTV and I start like seeing people flipping houses. So me and my boyfriend at the time, we saved up a bunch of money and we were literally eating like ramen noodles and like canned vegetables to just save money to be able to buy a house cash.
Yeah, yeah,
So we bought it, fixed it up, did all the work ourselves, and sold it for a good profit. And we're like, okay, this is cool. So then we would like buy one, flip one, buy one, hold and rent, buy one, flip one, buy one, hold and rent. So we'd kind of like we had this whole system going until COVID then kind of ruined everything because we panicked that the market was going to crash and panic sold all of them.
oh no.
And because we weren't living in the state where most of the rentals were because they were all in Florida. And oh my gosh, yeah, we were kicking ourselves in the butt because everything went phew. But
Yeah,
like our tenants weren't paying. They're with all the moratoriums, they said they didn't have to pay them. And so we were just like, we need them out and we need to sell the houses. But yeah, hindsight's 2020. I wish we would have
yeah,
gone.
no doubt. COVID, what a mess. What a
Mhm.
mess of a couple of years there. Holy crap. And so
Yeah.
tell us about the lingerie football league. Like, that had to be so much fun.
So it's funny because I never even heard about it or knew about it. I was just throwing a football with some friends like on the beach in Florida. And some guys were like, dude, you have like an awesome arm. Like, do you know like they're doing tryouts for the lingerie football league? And I'm like, what? I had played like flag football with a group of my guy friends before, but like never really watched or
Nothing
played.
serious or anything?
I played volleyball and basketball in high school and college, but so they were like, "Oh, we're doing tryouts." There's literally like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of girls at these tryouts, and I was like, "I don't even know football. Like this is crazy." They kept doing cuts, and I kept making it, and I'm like, "Okay." Like, and so then I made the team, and it's funny because I'm small. Like people see like your social media, and then they see me in person, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so little." Like I'm 5'2.5", like 103 pounds.
Mm.
So it's so funny when they're like, you play in the lingerie football league? Like it's full contact tackle football.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
it
Yeah, what position did you play?
I played safety and cornerback.
Okay.
Yeah. But my quarterback, it was funny because she's like, I wish you were taller because you have the best hands I've ever seen. Like I would catch anything she like threw, like
Mm.
when we were in practice and whatever. But like obviously with my height, like being a wide receiver is gonna be difficult playing against like those like 5'10" girls, that are
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
too.
They've almost got a foot on you. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
great. So, well, like, what other sports are you into, like, now? Do you watch, like, UFC fights? You watch hockey?
I don't have time to watch anything anymore. Oh my gosh. Like I used to enjoy watching sports. I was a huge basketball fan.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, now I don't watch anything, but I
What,
do
seriously?
like
You don't even watch, like, Netflix? No Disney? Like, what are you binge watching? You
I will
must
binge watch stuff
like,
once in a while when I get on a thing like at night at dinner time. Then I'll
yeah,
like watch some shows, but like that's the only time I kind of sit down. Because I feel like my TV is social media because I already don't, like I said, I don't really enjoy all of it, unfortunately, of having to stay on. Because to be successful, you have to kind of like
we gotta be active.
stay on the platform, use it, interact with people. Like I hate how they make it that way. So I
I
kind
hate
of
that shit too.
yeah, so I feel like I kind of have to go on there more than I want to, but to me that's my free time is that even though I'm not using it to relax and go on social media to enjoy it. It's more to like just
Keep
reply
up.
to people, entertain people, keep up with stuff, catch up on everything. So to me, that's my downtime. Because
Mhm.
I just started a new job too, and it's been kind of running me ragged. But yeah, trying to combine taking care of
Where'd you
my
start?
it's like this company called Motor Mia. It's like a AI automotive tech company.
Oh,
It's like a new startup. But so that's why it's been kind of so chaotic and all over the place because it's a startup. We're just in beta. Um, but it's just been like a lot because it's kind of like all day throughout the day, every day type thing. So I feel like I never really get a break, and it's been harder for me to kind of because normally me as my own boss, like I'm really good at being like, okay, Tuesday, Thursday's content day, Mondays like house chores, take care of the house day, like whatever. Like Wednesday's like a me day, like whatever appointments, blah blah blah. Then like this day is this, and then I work out this day, and this day. And like with this job, it's just no real set schedule, and it messes up all my stuff. And I'm like, I'm still trying to kind of get better at time management with that. So that's been kind of a learning curve for me.
yeah, it's
So
definitely time management. Like that's what it is for me. For this podcast, I work at BCIT. Of course, I got a wife and two kids. It's like when you're like saying like I do this, I know these days. Like I'm like, yep, that's reading my schedule. Like straight up, like you
yes,
start fucking throwing things in that are like, yeah, curveballs. Like, oh, I,
my
I
brain turns to mush and it messes up everything. So I'm like,
totally,
no, it messed up my schedule. That was not my plan.
yeah, yeah, totally. And let's get into the music in your world. Like, what are you into? I've seen some
Yeah.
rock posts out of you, but are you a rock girl?
I love rock music. I've always been like a rocker chick. Yeah. And I hate that I feel like it's like dying. I'm like,
No, it's not
guys,
dying. No, 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 no.
it's
Rock's
not as big as it used to be, though. I feel
I
like
think
kids
it's coming around
nowadays,
though. Come
our
around.
age, people like my age and whatever, they still like it, right? But I feel like the younger generation is like, what is this crap? I'm like, it's the best music ever.
Totally. But then you listen to their shit and you're like, what is this? Like, you're
You
talking
can't
one
even
talking about what
understand what
this
they're
crap is?
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like this guy's mumbling. I can't hear a thing, man. What are you doing?
exactly. But yeah,
What
no,
is
I
it?
absolutely love rock. I like country now too. I'm here in Nashville.
Yeah.
Um,
What's his name? Morgan Wallen.
yeah, he's huge now. Yeah.
So good. It's crazy. It's crazy how good he is.
Yeah,
Like
like
normally
hit
I'm
after hit.
not a country guy at all, but like this past summer was like a Morgan Wallen summer in my house.
Well, I feel like country's kind of it's gotten a lot more like mainstream and rocky, even like a lot of
Yeah, totally.
it was funny, there's one kind of new guy that has recently come out, and I see people commenting, "Oh my gosh, like you created a new amazing genre. It sounds like kind of like a rock, but you're talking about like country stuff. So it's like country rock." And I'm like, I was like, he literally sounds exactly like Nickelback. I'm like, guys, this has been around for like 20 years. He's not starting something new, I promise. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, didn't Nickelback just did that big tour with like a
yeah,
couple really big countries? It's like, what? When they announced that, I was like, what is going on?
everybody hates on them, and I'm like, you cannot deny they were freaking good.
They, Nickelback's amazing. Those guys, if you see them live, like and truly give them your time, you'll walk away a fan. You
Yeah.
will. There's just no way around it. They're that good.
Kid Rock did that to me. I was not a big Kid Rock
Oh,
fan,
really?
but he was live at a concert, and I was just like, he just the way he commanded that stage and his like personality, I was like, I love him.
Right? Like just his presence is amazing. Like he's
Yes.
just yeah, he's a big presence. What was your first concert that you went to?
I remember this to this day, and it's funny because it was the most amazing concert ever, and I didn't even realize it at the time because they were like not big.
Yeah.
So it was the main headliners were Seether and Evanescence. But
Okay.
who opened for them was Crossfade, Breaking Benjamin, and 3 Days Grace. So like I got to see all of them, and that's where I really like fell in love with all three of those opening, rock bands. Because I went for Amy Lee for Evanescence, but then I got to like see the other ones and I fell in love. But I was like, I didn't even realize how good of a concert I got to go to until later, and like 3 Days Grace and Breaking Benjamin took off, and
They're massive. That was a 3 Days Grace with the original singer or the new guy?
yes, the
The
original. Because that was way
Yeah,
back. I was in
go
like
way back.
middle school, or no, high school, high
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, between Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, I think they've gotta have close to 30 number 1 songs.
yeah.
Like,
There like there are
massive,
like 2 that
massive.
have been able to, like, kinda stay relevant. A lot of my big name rock bands that I like, they're just not even big anymore, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually saw one of them. So where I play volleyball at is that one of the places is this, like, restaurant place that at a condo thing that has, like, volleyball courts.
Mm.
And I saw, like, one of the lead singers of a band that I really liked was a cook there, and I felt so
Oh,
bad, like, just recently here, like, in Nashville, and I'm like, "Oh, man."
go talk to
Like,
me like, "Fucking COVID."
I was literally like, "Hey, are you so and so?" And he was probably, like, embarrassed. He's like, "Yes, yes, I
Yes.
am." Literally like a cook there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, check out my YouTube page. I have I just talked to Adam Gontier, the original singer of Three
Oh,
Days
nice.
Grace.
Yes.
I
I
think
loved him better than
it's
My
8 months ago.
Darkest
Yeah,
Days.
I liked
You
him better
can't
too.
how do you
I do still like the band, but
yeah.
I know Adam and I know the guys in 3 Days Grace from working at a radio station here in Vancouver. So I guess I kinda have that affinity with him just because I know the guys, right? But I still think that they're a really good band now.
So I was bummed because I was so excited when he started Saint Asonia, right, is
It's
his
Sonia, yeah.
and so I checked him out, but I was like, "Ugh, it's not the same." Like, his voice is there, obviously, but I'm like, the music writing or, like, the actual, like,
Yeah.
instruments are, like, aren't what they were, so now I was like, "Okay, now I kinda get why they were able to keep the 3 Days Grace name without the lead singer," but at the same time, it kind of bothered me. I'm like, "You
Well,
can't get rid of the lead singer and still have the same band name." But
yeah, I kind of felt that way too, but that's like a few bands too, like, when, Alice in Chains continued and they, of course, used Alice in Chains, but, oh, that's interesting, they maybe should have started it like I don't know, like, I get it that they'd wanna continue to use the brand,
yeah.
use the name, people know the name, but, so the singer of 3 Days Grace now is the brother of the bass player in 3 Days Grace as well, if you didn't
Oh,
know.
really?
So
Oh,
there was
no.
that connection already. So the guy that's singing
Okay.
for them knew when Adam was singing in the band, he kinda,
He
he was
already
part of the group as well. He's actually the singer of, you ever heard of a
like,
band called My
My
Darkest Days?
Darkest Days, yeah, I know he was from there.
Lords are
Yeah,
dancing.
yep.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here in just a bit here, Kristen. Thank you,
Of course.
again for taking some time here today. Um, I'm wondering, and I know because you're a tomboy, you're gonna have an answer. Share a near-death story with us where you're like, "Holy shit, I
On my
could have just died."
motorcycle a few times, actually, unfortunately. It's mostly always, like, the other drivers, but, yeah, I've
Always.
had 2 really crazy ones on my motorcycle, but I'm gonna tell you this story because, like, overall, this one kind of is the craziest. So, I remember my dad's telling me a story. He's like, one of my best friends, like, he just died in a motorcycle accident. So he was telling me, he's like, be extra careful. He's like, he was stopped at a red light and a truck behind him was just not paying attention and just ran right into him and killed him.
Yeah.
So my dad told me, he's like, just promise me when you're on your bike, like, pay attention, like, always keep an eye out, even when you're stopped at a light, like, check your mirrors, like, give yourself room to get out of the way. Kid you not, like, I think not even a month later, I'm stopped at a red light and I'm looking in my mirror. I had left the room. I'm looking in my mirror and it looks like this car behind me. It's like SUV and it looks like they're not slowing down. And I'm like, oh shit. So I put my motorcycle in gear, go right up next to the car in front of me, and as I'm doing that, I just watched that SUV smash the car that was in front of me, like, go past me, smash the car in front of me, and they hit a car in front of them. I would have been, like,
Push.
smushed. But I
Yeah.
was like so to me, that was, like, just so crazy. Obviously, my adrenaline's, like, rushing. I watched that happen. I'm like, I could have literally just died, and I thought it was so crazy that my dad told me, like, because I never really thought about paying attention or leaving a room stopped at a light before until
Mhm.
my dad told me that story. So that would
Yeah.
I would say is my craziest, like, hit home near death.
Yeah, for sure. Well, actually, I had a friend here, pass away from that. He same thing, like, rammed from behind, ran him right over, dead on the scene.
Yeah.
It's, scary. Like, it's scary. If you're
Yeah, it's
riding
the other
bikes, man,
people
be
on
aware.
the yeah, that's what everybody says, like, it's not if, it's when, and, like, you gotta my brain hurts when I ride. I literally assume everybody's gonna run lights, pull out in front of me, run into me, like, so
Yeah,
I'm always just, like, the craziest defensive driver, and I think that has probably helped with car racing and driving too, is just kind of reflexes, being more aware, and just I feel like there's so much more mental to driving and stuff than people think a lot of times.
yeah.
I don't know, but
Being aware of your surroundings, like you were saying, like, it's nice to be able to have that where nothing else is in your mind but that
yep.
one thing. And when you're
Yeah, wait,
racing, like, everybody's around you racing as well, like, probably should focus on racing.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my mom always freaks out. She's like, It scares me that you're racing." I'm like, "You need to be more scared of me riding a motorcycle." Because I was like, "At least on the
Yeah,
racetrack, everybody has, like, some experience and is paying attention." I was like, "On the road, they're not." And we have all this awesome safety equipment now, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm in an invincible bubble when I get in a race car and I have, like, all my gear on.
yeah,
That probably helps me be a little bit more crazy in the car because I genuinely feel so safe. Because I'm like, I ride my motorcycle all the time, and you don't feel super protected, right? But you get in a car with like a 6-point harness, your racing helmet, your Hans device, the roll cage, like everything. You're like, I'm invincible. I can do it. Like, who cares if I wreck? Like, it'll be fine.
get you plowing into the corners, speeding up into those corners, like, that's cool. So what's the rest of 2024 looking like for you? Have you got, like, how far are you mapped out?
Well, like I said, I started this job because I was looking for some more like stable, guaranteed like income, and that's consuming a lot of my life right now. I wanted, so like I said, I'm like turning 36 this year. So I want to focus more now too on also, I think this is why I did the like guaranteed paycheck, was so I could focus time on racing and music because those are like kind of more my passions.
Mhm.
But I have to, like I said, figure out the whole time blocking thing or I'm gonna have less time. So hopefully, I'll practice what I preach, like I do on my social media, motivational stuff, and my tattoo down my back says, "Don't dream your life, live your dreams."
Mm,
But kind of lately, I haven't really been living them, so I want to get back to trying to do some more music and racing. Could be doing the Stadium Super Truck Series here at Nashville, hopefully, maybe. So we'll see.
cool. What was your latest tattoo? And I'll let you go.
Oh, so my one before this one was this one, so it had kind of been a while. It's just kind of everything, a girl and a clock and stuff. But then this is my most recent one. It says everything's fine.
Nice.
Me and my best friend got them together because we both say that like when we're like stressed or going through a bunch of stuff. We're like, that's fine, everything's fine. Like so we just got
Yeah,
matching tattoos.
right on. Kristen, thank you for taking
Yes,
some
thank
time
you.
this morning and joining us. So what the way I found you was you're at Kristen Strout Racing on Instagram. If you do a little bit of digging, you have a massive following at R1 underscore vet underscore babe 23.
Yes.
Freaking huge. You're huge, kid. Have a
Thank you.
great day. We'll
Thank
tag
you.
you when
Well,
we're throwing this stuff around online. And yeah, thanks again. Appreciate it.
yeah,
Have a
for
good
sure.
day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.